It is an incredible time. I feel like the transformation of our company and the industry, the AI data revolution, it feels like a new industry, a new company, and I'm honored to be able to be thinking about how we bring all 70,000 of our employees along on the journey of AI so that we can create the skills needed for everybody to be an AI storyteller and optimize employee experiences through the use of our own technology.
The advent of AI is fundamentally transforming talent management and reshaping job roles, revolutionizing the way organizations operate. As we integrate AI into our workforce strategies, as leaders, we have to reimagine our approach to people and culture. I'm Leandro Perez, Senior Vice President and CMO of Asia Pacific at Salesforce, and I'm excited to be hosting another episode of Executive Conversations, where senior executives and thought leaders from around the world join me to exchange their valuable insights and perspectives. We've already had many incredible conversations. If you've missed an episode, you can catch up at sfdc.co/conversations. Today, I'm thrilled to welcome Nathalie Scardino, our new President and Chief People Officer. She's responsible for leading the global employee success organization, which includes hiring and employee engagement, talent development, and cultivating Salesforce's high-performance culture. Though she's not new to us, Nathalie has had an incredible career here at Salesforce over the past 12 years. Nathalie has played a vital role in key company milestones. For example, the Racial Equality and Justice Task Force designed to accelerate Salesforce's equality efforts. Welcome, Nathalie. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here in Sydney.
It's been an incredible week, so thank you
amazing.
for coming down. Look, we like to start this, learn a little bit about you, some icebreakers. So, you're in, employee success, HR. Growing up, did you think you would be a chief people officer?
No, I definitely did not. It was kind of a tale of two halves. So I went to business school, and I laugh because in 1999, my final dissertation was whether the Body Shop should go online. And I thought I was so cutting edge at the time.
That was big at the time.
That
Body
was
Shop
big.
was it.
And then naturally, what does a business major do? They go and study film and theatre. So that was the next bit of my journey, but it was really to get to London from the north of England. So I moved to London and pursued an arts degree. And so really more about the staging, the lighting, the casting of the characters and the plays, and it was just an amazing time. Yeah.
Incredible. So I guess this now makes sense.
Absolutely, and I think the arts and overall have afforded me a lot of opportunities and different experiences that I feel really passionate about.
Well, look, let's change gears to your new role. New Chief People Officer here at Salesforce.
That's right.
Tell us a little bit about that and how you're thinking about the role.
Yeah, so 12 years at Salesforce, and I am 6 months into a new role as the Chief People Officer, and it is an incredible time. I feel like the transformation of our company and the industry, the AI data revolution, it feels like a new industry, a new company, and I'm honored to be able to be thinking about how we bring all 70,000 of our employees along on the journey of AI so that we can create the skills needed for everybody to be an AI storyteller and optimize employee experiences through the use of our own technology. So it is just a very, very transformative time for all of us. And it's interesting, half of our population at Salesforce sit outside of the US.
Yes.
So when you think about the complexities and opportunities in different markets and the cultural nuances, I get a lot of energy and very passionate about the richness of the diversity and the perspectives of our entire employee population.
So let's double click on technology, AI.
Yeah.
How are you thinking about that at Salesforce? We've got some pretty cool things we have access to as employees.
Yes.
Why don't you share a little bit about that and maybe what's next as well?
Yeah, there's a number of things on my mind related to technology, as you can imagine. And the first, again, is how do we bring our employees along? And to me, I think fundamentally it is providing access to AI in the flow of work to really build on skills relevancy. The second is, I have an incredible relationship with our CIO, Juan Perez, and so
Great surname, by the way.
excellent surname, of course. And Juan and I spend a lot of time on the employee experience. And already, his office has released over 50 Salesforce on Salesforce AI automation tools in the flow of work for our employees. And we're building multi-year strategy on that. And then the third is culture. We are a differentiated culture. I have stayed at the company so long because of the values. I think the work that we do is incredible. What we do is amazing, but more so how we do it, and in a world of AI where ethical and humane use, I know you had Paula Goldman
Yes.
as part of this series, is now being embedded into the foundation of product design. I feel like it's the same with our values. As we enter this new transformative period of time, the differentiation will be those human traits of trust, of customer success, of equality, sustainability, innovation, which I think differentiates us in a major way.
Let's click into some of those 50 examples of
Yeah.
new technology. Sometimes we forget at Salesforce how lucky we are. We have tools like Concierge.
Yes.
Can you share a little bit? Because, most people still don't have access to some of these stuff, and now you've made it even better with AI. So can you share a little bit about that?
And I think, yes, I can. A couple of things to that. It is, I think, sometimes overwhelming for even me in my role, thinking about, well, what are the AI tools that are needed that employees, can get more productive or engaged experiences. And so we have an AI council made up of a number of different stakeholders, and we go through a process of reviewing what are those applications, because we're not short on ideas, which is amazing. But where do you know where to start? You got to prioritize. So one of the earlier initiatives that we launched 4 months ago is Ask Concierge. Now we have, again, thousands of employees, some that have been here for a number of years, others just starting. And how do you find information? Where do you go to find information? And Ask Concierge has been able to streamline that in the application of Slack, whether it is benefits, holiday calendars. And thus, I think at this point, 4 months in, we've had over 80,000 queries. And issue resolution has gone from 48 hours to 30 minutes. So imagine how much time that you're now being able to spend on that higher value work, because you're not being bogged down by trying to find relevant articles and information to do your job. So that is a huge, huge part of the employee experience that we'll continue to see over time.
Well, thank you, because as an employee, I do benefit from that as well.
Yes.
And I've seen the speed improvement, and I love that it's in the flow of work. We're all working in Slack, and be able to do it there as well, not some other system, is important.
Yes.
And I think critically as well is that you're getting the benefit for your team, because you can't grow. We're growing as a company, but you can't double your team every year as well, right? So I'm assuming you're getting benefits on your side there too.
Oh, I think any HR organization, the AI technology, automation, and the augmenting of work, the HR space is transforming in a way that we have never seen, that I have never seen in the last 2 decades of being in this industry, because of some of the manual task-related nature of our work. For example, in the recruiting space, we schedule a lot of interviews. The candidate experience for us is like the customer experience. People have a choice of where they want to work. And now we're using technology so that candidates can have a self-service experience of scheduling versus having somebody that goes back and forth between the hiring teams. And it's a very jarring experience. Now you can do it on your own in an application and meet, when the best time is for you. And that has saved us hours. And now our recruitment coordinators are spending more time with candidates or working on the offer details. So that higher value work, which has been incredible for us.
What I love about that is we always say at Salesforce that many businesses look to the consumer world.
Yes.
That's what you would expect, and you're starting to see with your own
Yes.
service inquiries, and now you're bringing it to the business.
That's
and
right.
Everyone has your challenge of have people and
Yes.
they want to recruit. So that's a really, really cool one there. And I guess from your point of view, does that change then the skills that you need for the people in your team and more broadly at Salesforce?
That's a great question. So I spent a lot of time thinking about skills, and we saw recently in the WEF report the most in-demand skills of probably the next decade. And what was interesting is the top two were very human traits. So creative thinking, analytical thinking, the ability to problem solve will be more and more of a critical skill. And then layered within that are what I would call self-management skills like self-awareness, active listening, empathy. Those things become more heightened and more relevant in a world where we are augmenting our work with agents and technology. And from a leadership design perspective, those are the things that we're really, really focused on ensuring that everybody is leaning into.
Interesting. So how, if you've got organizations that are tuning in, executives, how do they get on that journey, right? Because that may be completely different to what they've hired for before. So how do you think about that? And
Yes.
what advice would you give there?
Well, right now we're going through an exercise again with my good friend Juan on every function at Salesforce is looking at if you think about jobs, there are a series of tasks. So looking at every job, the tasks that are what are the high value tasks and what are the tasks that can be automated, like the example of the scheduling tool. And that is an imperative for every functional leader. I'm sure, Leandro, you are thinking about it in your own organization,
Always.
are you not? Always.
Yeah.
And so that is crucial because that will also help unlock the level of innovation that we need to meet the moment that we're in as well from a transformative perspective.
I love hearing how the chief people officer and the CIO are tight.
Yes.
We talk a lot to CIOs at Salesforce, and really everyone is focusing on the CIO there and getting their help. What are the new roles that have not existed before? And maybe they're in IT, maybe they're not, that you're hearing about because of AI and some of these changes?
Yeah, well, we're seeing it real time every day. So, for example, there's obviously the rise of the prompt engineer,
Yes.
which we've been talking about with our research team for the last 10 years. And I know they've been at the cutting edge of that market.
And you were just in Singapore meeting that team as well, right?
Exactly. I was able to meet with our award-winning AI research lab in Singapore, who have been key parts to prompt engineering and writing papers on it for, again, the last decade. But new roles will continue. Think about the social media role.
That didn't exist, 10, 15 years ago,
It did not
right?
exist.
Now we have people that just do that.
We do. It's a whole industry. It's a whole market.
Yes.
And I believe that we'll see more of that. Think about ethical AI architects. That is another job that we're seeing more and more present in the market and at Salesforce, because by design, your products need to meet those standards of trust and ethical use. And so embedding that skill set at the beginning, we will continue to see a rise in that profile as well.
So with all this change, how does it impact culture? Obviously, that's probably one of your key metrics, the health and success of our culture here at Salesforce. How do you think
Yes.
about that? And, what questions do you have potentially?
Yeah, well, it is a great question. To me, again, in a world of AI and augmenting of work, you need both people and AI. And it is not replacing, it is
Augmenting.
augmenting the work. hopefully for us all to feel more connected to creativity and the work that helps stimulate our own intellectual curiosity and the work that we do. So culture to me, again, is, as you know, deeply embedded with our values. We're celebrating, it's our 25th anniversary.
Yes, it's incredible.
Which
1999.
is 1999.
With Smith's song, I think, as well.
Oh,
right?
I know, that was it. And so, 25 years, we embedded trust on day one. So I think about culture as trust, of bringing employees along the journey, on thinking about predicting the future, whether it is with skills, experiences, what is important to employees. And by the way, as you know, we're here now in Australia, but what is important to our employees here might look different to employees in other markets.
Yes.
And so this is why for any chief people officer, what is also critical is that we build talent strategies related to the voice of our employees. So we have our listening strategies when we hear about what is the thing that engages you the most, retention strategies, and building that by market and by experience and by skill, I think is really core to any good people strategy.
So Salesforce culture is also linked to our effort on equality, which is one of our key values. I know you've been in the driving seat for many of those initiatives. How are you thinking about that today? Is there anything you'd like to share about what we're doing there? Yeah,
what I love about Salesforce is that, again, equality is a core value and has been for a decade, more than a decade. And so we've been doing the work for a long time before it became
sexy.
became popular for some, right? Think about equal pay.
Yes.
Salesforce and Mark led equal pay. And we've seen a lot of markets and customers follow that. We have our equal pay audit that we do every single year. And so equality is embedded into the work that we do all of the time. And we see it in different markets. I mean, think about the work that we also did in Indy.
Yes.
And I think, equality right now, or DEI, we spoke about before this, is facing new challenges, around the world, around the market. And we are not deviating from our commitment to equality and making Salesforce the most inclusive organization in tech. Mark talks about business as the greatest platform for change, and I fundamentally believe that that is integrated with all of our core values, including equality.
So you talk to many chief people officers around the world. What are you hearing from them? Are they as progressive? Are they as advanced on AI, technology, culture? Where are they at the moment? And what advice do you give to them?
Yeah, well, like our customers, right? We have customers, small, medium, large enterprise customers, all on different journeys, different industries. And from an HR people perspective, I think some of the biggest themes are, how do you bring the workforce along on the journey? How do you get applications in the flow of work related to AI? How do you make it an approach that doesn't feel like it is happening to you, but with you? And so that has been a lot of the focus around employee experience. Also related to high performance, because we're seeing that AI is really impacting productivity and engagement, because employees, when you take away some of the manual tasks, are highly engaged in creative work and problem solving for our customers. And we're going to continue to see more of that. In addition, though, sustained performance over time is critical for any organization. And that balance of high performance with not just what you do, but how you are doing it. And I think both of those things are key areas for any HR organization right now.
Let's double click on that from the employee point of view. So you mentioned you want to bring them along on the journey, and there's definitely benefits for them. Sometimes they may be worried about some of the potential risks for their careers and beyond. How are you thinking about that? Yeah, well, there's a couple of things. One is having this type of conversation. I think every leader
and especially every functional leader needs to be having that conversation with their organization, looking deeply at the employee voice. What is the feedback? Where are the hotspots? Some of it is also myths, depending on what you're reading at any different time. I can understand the feeling of being overwhelmed.
Yes.
But for me, it is really important, even today in my organization, we deal with a lot of data, interview data, feedback data, performance evaluations data. And so we're starting with a position of, hey, the quality of the data is what is going to help propel the quality of the AI. And we all have a role to play in that. So I think making it more practical and real for employees in your organization, finance organization, is also really, really important, so people can see how they're being brought along with the experiences.
So probably a question you're not yet prepared to answer, but I'm going to say it anyway.
Okay.
Thinking 1 year in the future,
Yeah.
in this role, what will success mean to you? And what have you shared with your leadership potentially as well?
Yeah, success is everybody is an AI storyteller.
Okay.
Everybody, you think about what we're doing right now with Einstein in the Slack application, using Slack, using Einstein to answer questions around or scheduling meetings. We've had 140,000 meetings scheduled in Slack using Einstein.
It's incredible. Time saving, productivity at the individual level.
At the individual level. And I think that, success will be the employee voice at the end of the day. How engaged, how connected to the company direction does the employee feel will be the ultimate success metrics.
I love that. It's exciting.
Yeah.
Well, look, maybe one last question for the audience that are tuning in. CXOs, you mentioned small, large, anywhere in that journey. How can they get started if they're not, or if they're potentially on that journey but not yet where you are or thinking about that? What advice would you give to them?
Yeah, well, it is happening.
You can't stop it.
You cannot stop it. You have to have an AI strategy, but even, I would say, more importantly, a data strategy. So I would start there with the governance around what is your data strategy today? Because in order to move through the steps, that is the foundational component to it. And the second is really think about where your employees are today and have that transparent conversation around, hey, this is where we want to be able to invest, or this is where we think we need to be augmenting the work, and here's why. Often the why sometimes gets missed to an employee, or this is the feedback that I've received. But if you say why, because we're going to save you hours to be able to go and focus on that high value impact work, who doesn't want that? So I think bringing your employees along with the why is also very important, and having a data strategy at every single business, no matter how big or small you are, is fundamental.
Well, sage advice. Nathalie, I just want to firstly congratulate you on your
Thank
role.
you.
Thank you for everything you're doing for the employees, but also for sharing and your leadership, and for joining us in our region, down under, but across Asia Pacific. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. Pleasure.
If you want to catch up on the chats we've had so far with some of the most interesting and valued executives in our ecosystem, visit sfdc.co/conversations. We are covering the ideas and concepts that are top of mind for executives and leaders within business to share, inspire, and help you connect with your customers in a whole new way. So far, we've covered earning trust with AI, tackling transformation for the best brand experiences, and today, how technology and AI are impacting today's workforce. Thank you for tuning in to our executive conversations. See you next time.